Joining me on the line as he does every Friday on the show, except last week when we had other things to do, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mike Reyes. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com is joining me on the line right now. What's up, man?
Missed me talking about well, I didn't even talk to anyone about Army of the Dead last week because there was no one to talk to.
Is that Dave Bautista and all that on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah, actually could probably throw that in this week.
Real quick, is it good?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it gets a little slow at times, but it is quite fun to watch. I'll watch Dave Bautista in pretty much anything. I think he's just a real cool guy. Tig Notaro steals every one of her scenes in this movie, and she was that's really amazing considering she was dropped in with CGI because she replaced a cast member that was removed because of sexual misconduct allegations.
Is she the one that is on Star Trek Discovery too?
Yes.
I really like, don't get me wrong, I really like her, and I thought she was a great addition to Discovery. When I saw the clips of her in this movie, like, I kind of feel like her shtick would get old kind of quick.
She's not in the movie all that much.
Yeah.
It's only like really a couple of key scenes. The minute she's introduced, she endears herself to this movie. That's a quick rundown for anybody who doesn't know about it. Zombie apocalypse breaks out in Las Vegas, and a crew led by Dave Bautista is hired to sneak back into the city and liberate $250 million just before a tactical nuclear weapon is supposed to go off and wipe the slate clean. It's Zack Snyder's first zombie movie since his Dawn of the Dead remake, which was his first movie ever.
Yeah.
And I was really excited to see him return to this. Some of that energy is definitely still here, but it gets a little slower at times. It's not as colorful as I hoped it would be, especially with all the
like Vegas and lights
on that poster. Yeah. And then on top of that, you've got this wonderful opening credit sequence where the last horror movie I could think of that did something like this was Ghost Ship, where it opens with this flowery main title, and then you see this whole boat of people get eviscerated. Army of the Dead shows you the zombie apocalypse while Richard Cheese is singing Viva Las Vegas. And it is not only a perfect Dawn of the Dead reference.
Yeah.
It is proof that I do not want Zack Snyder and Richard Cheese to ever stop working together because he snuck them into some of his other movies. Army of the Dead's pretty good. They've also got a behind-the-scenes featurette that you can watch on Netflix right now, and there's going to be like a prequel movie and a prequel anime. So if you like this world, there's more coming.
I'm just kind of spent on the zombies.
Oh, I'm glad they're coming back. They really zombies aren't as popular as they were like maybe in the mid-aughts because of 28 Days Later and Dawn of the Dead. Like you had so many zombie movies, and this is not only is this Zack Snyder going back to it for the first time, it's closer to like George Romero sort of zombie movie.
Let me ask you this. Zack Snyder, if he was going to like, what are the old Hollywood tropes like zombies or Martian, invading Earth or just any of the number of those, kind of standard movies? Which one would you want to see Zack Snyder tackle?
I kind of want to see him stay with zombies.
Really?
I wouldn't mind seeing it. Well, we've technically already seen an alien invasion movie of his thanks to Justice League. And technically this can double as zombies and aliens because there's a theory and there is evidence that this is an extraterrestrial zombie plague of some sort, because when you watch the movie, the whole thing opens with these two military guys talking about hauling this payload from, Area 51. So that has to mean that it's, I'm just going to say it's an alien.
Yeah.
But at very beginning of the movie, like literally 30 seconds in, look to the top left of the screen. There's two dots of light that zoom the hell out of there.
Okay, so it's kind of like Cloverfield, that last scene.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Only this is, So it's fun. There's real fun characters in there. There's great moments. Some people didn't dig it. I dug it.
All right. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line to talk about movies. Cruella is coming out this week. You liked it, right?
I loved it.
Okay. What was the Maleficent?
No.
Just hear me out. Where it's like we need the backstory of another villain or something like that. That's what it kind of seemed like they were doing with this one.
Okay. In that respect, yes.
And
that is what it is.
So, what's her name's in it?
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. So it's good, huh?
It's not only good, it is a hell of a lot of fun. It's kind of it's like part Ocean's 11, part Devil Wears Prada, part maybe a little bit of Joker.
Okay.
I would say. And just the whole thing is, we get to know Cruella de Vil's backstory from her childhood to the days when she's aspiring to be a fashion designer. She meets Horace and Jasper, who are later her, accomplices in 101 Dalmatians. And it's basically her going up against this haughty fashion designer played by Emma Thompson, who is deliciously icy. And it leads to scenes between these two being these beautiful verbal games of chess and tennis where they're just two performers at the top of their game being given the right material.
Okay.
And then as Cruella becomes increasingly punk and chaotic, she wages war with her through fashion design because they basically become rivals.
Okay.
And not only does it lead to some of the coolest costumes that I've seen in a movie, it's also just a really intriguing story. And the reason that I was upset that Maleficent even came into the picture was because this was actually something I could dig into. Maleficent was boring, cotton candy, dark fairy tale stuff. Whereas this has Rolling Stones and David Bowie needle drops going while people are in gorgeous costumes and heists are being pulled, and it was a lot better than I expected it to be. I was just bowled over.
Okay, let me ask you this: how many Cruella costumes are we going to see this Halloween?
I don't know, because the movie does have 47 different looks, so
wow,
anything's possible. I would love to see it, as long as it's not just Cruella from 101 Dalmatians with the dog fur. It's she wears a Dalmatian inspired outfit in this, but it's not full Cruella. But also the costumes in there is just so much more.
Okay.
Interesting. She has a punk rock royalty outfit at one point, and she basically has one of her henchmen kind of tie up Emma Thompson's car so she can't get out, and then she just jumps up and drops the train in front of the window to literally steal attention. And there's just so much style and excitement to this that even though it does get the pacing does slow down a little bit towards the end, it doesn't stop being entertaining.
Okay. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me. Cruella was on, is that theaters and Disney Plus?
That will be theaters and a Disney Plus premium access, which means you will have to pay $30 to unlock it, but it will be unlocked through your Disney Plus account, even though you will only have to wait a couple months for it to be the same. It's just a timed exclusive. Yeah. It's you're paying DLC.
What else is going on in the world of movie news? We were kind of talking before this, and not a ton of real huge stories. Oh
no, just MGM getting bought out by Amazon for $8.45 billion, and the James Bond franchise heads at Eon Productions, Barbara Broccoli specifically saying, "Look, James Bond's still going to be theatrical. You guys think this is just going to go to Amazon because we got bought? That's cute." And this is the thing that people continually forget whenever MGM is mentioned to be possibly bought by someone, because these Amazon rumors have been going for months. Eon Productions is the company that has the rights to the James Bond franchise.
Okay.
MGM finances the budgets and distributes the movie domestically, but Universal distributes it internationally now.
Okay.
And Eon Productions has say on everything: casting, scripts, advertising. They have the total control of how that franchise works. And if MGM or Amazon tick them off, there's a good chance they could go and look for another company to take over.
Who do you think they'd go for?
Universal, because not only do they have the cash to spend on a James Bond movie, because these things are expensive.
Yeah.
Alone is $250 million, and then with all the promotions and everything else, it has been said that Spectre had to make $800 million to break even, which it did, and which people were offering to bring No Time to Die in as a streaming exclusive.
Yeah.
So, but they rejected it. So Universal has the cash right now that they could probably drop on a Bond movie. And plus they're handling international release anyway. They could probably just take the whole thing. Maybe Paramount, because Paramount has the rights to No Time to Die for streaming on Paramount Plus, and that's after it goes to Epix for cable. How Disney movies used to go to Stars when they went to cable.
Oh yeah, Epix. You know what? When we had, what was that on Dish or?
It's on several providers.
Yeah. We don't have it now, but we had it for a while. I love that channel.
I've never really watched it, but they do have a decent selection of movies on there.
It was
some good looking shows.
like when we had it, I want to say there was like 3 different Epix channels. And what was cool back in bringing up Marvel again, but no, I when the first Avengers movie came out, they were running like all the Marvel movies leading up to it.
Oh yeah,
like
because that was back in the day when Paramount still owned Marvel or still had a stake in the rights.
Yeah,
and it still had to go to cable because I'm sure after that expired, it went to Stars.
When did Disney take over Marvel?
Disney took over Marvel, I want to say around 2010.
What was the first Disney Marvel movie?
Technically, the first movie they had a hand in, if I'm not mistaken, was they distributed Avengers. And then they distributed Iron Man 3. And I think Iron Man 3 was the last one.
Okay.
That may have been a Paramount production.
It's a complete side note. We're rewatching the Marvel movies, my wife and I had forgotten that it wasn't always Disney.
Yeah, so. Well, it's kind of weird because you go back to that first phase and it's like Paramount. And I still think one of the greatest what ifs is what if Paramount kept Marvel?
Yeah.
I don't know if all the rights would have come together under Paramount.
Yeah.
Well, it might have still done because Kevin Feige probably was still running the show then. So he probably would have still had the mind to grab all the rights and operate under Paramount.
Yeah.
But I wonder, like, I know certain people, I think, started to be phased out in that. In the early days, I think Avi Arad stopped being a producer on the movies. I forget who else. Like, I think certain personnel changed over after the Disney buyout. It's something I just wonder, like, would they still have been edgier, like, harder-nosed comic movies, and would we have still had that on the marketplace as opposed to sort of softened movies that we've gotten? Like, you take a look in the past 10 years, or over 10 years, you take a look at, like, Iron Man versus Avengers Endgame, and look at how much Tony Stark has changed as a character, and how much some of his behaviors started to drop off after Iron Man 3.
That's what my wife said. We were watching the first Iron Man. She goes, I forgot how many women he kind of had dealings with and stuff. And
yeah,
you know what's funny about it? And I'm sorry, we've hit this tangent.
It's a good one. I like it.
Going back and watching the first few movies, that first phase, people want to bag on Thor. I didn't really hate it the second time around, looking back. Iron Man 2.
Better.
When you know the complete story of everything that movie set up, it's like, yeah, it's kind of the same bag. I get it, but I don't hate it.
Oh, I've never hated Iron Man 2. Even when it first came out, I was like, yeah, this is fun.
You know what fan theory? I actually saw this on TikTok. They're talking about, they go, how did we go through the entire Marvel series and didn't know that Tony Stark recreated a Infinity Stone? Because and the guy pushes to the evidence. He goes, all of Howard Stark's research was based on the Tesseract, right?
Right.
And then when he recreates that new element for his chess piece in Iron Man 2, he goes, it was something like this. It goes, that recreated an Infinity Stone and nobody realized it.
People weren't thinking about the Infinity Stones then.
So, anyways, going back to the MGM thing, so this has happened, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazon now has control of MGM. They now have control of their film the film library was the big reason they wanted it. And why wouldn't you when you've got Pink Panther, Legally Blonde, Rocky, like all these big ticket things. And I'm sure to a certain extent, the one thing that positive that could come out of this for the Bond franchise is Prime Video might become the new home for all the previous Bond movies on streaming.
Yeah, I could see that where they put it on loan to it, kind of like a Netflix does with some of their stuff, or how they get
I think MGM might own I wonder if they own the streaming rights. Because right now the streaming rights for the Bond movies have been all over the place. Like, you could find most of them on Tubi right now. You can find most of them on Pluto right now.
But what I'm saying is, like, when they put, like, The Office on Netflix for a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, then they could lend it to, like, hey, Netflix, you can have it for a month.
All right, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me. What else is going on as we kind of wrap up today? Because I'm sorry, I had no intention of talking about the Marvel stuff today. I really didn't.
I don't care. That was that stuff was interesting, and whether we like it or not, there's always going to be some corner of Marvel that's going to poke into things because it's just that big of a company. And plus, when you look at things like, I'm going to mention it for like 5 seconds because we were both kind of underwhelmed by it. The Eternals trailer happened, and I don't have much confidence in this being exciting because even though I love Chloe Zhao as a filmmaker, like Nomadland was amazing.
Yeah.
This looks like, wow, someone actually decided to go film a movie and go on location. The movie itself just
It reminded me kind of a Guardians of the Galaxy in the respect that, it's not it's not one of Marvel's more popular comics.
Yeah, like an offbeat team of,
like, you really have to be in the weeds to know who the Eternals are. I mean, that's what it kind of comes down to. Guardians, it got lucky because it had a really kooky director that really fit what they wanted to do and was able to make it, James Gunn. And he turned it into something that people are like, oh wow, there's going to be a tree in this? Awesome, Where now it's like, I am Groot. So yeah. I don't know. The Marvel movies, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're better when the main character doesn't take themselves so serious. When it's not trying to be completely like
Captain America was really good.
No, it is, but
that remembered to be a comic book movie.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Eternals and it's like, we've never interfered and we've never done this. And
oh yeah, that always seemed to be DC shtick to me. Like DC always seemed to be gods and men, or gods and humans,
yeah.
And then Marvel always seemed to be humans screwing around with cosmic stuff and with science stuff, and sometimes there's gods, but for the most part, it was science and the cosmos.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's like Guardians, where I don't know much about it. I'm gonna like it in the end.
Here's hoping, and I kind of hope that for the next. We got another Evil Dead movie coming, which, since Bruce Campbell's retired from the role, it's not going to be an Ash movie, but he is executive producing, and Sam Raimi, the guy who helped direct and create the original series, is back to executive produce also. And it's basically two sisters reunite and some interesting stuff starts happening. And from what Bruce Campbell was saying, it's not just going to be, another cabin in the woods movie. So that's going to be interesting if this turns out to be like the Deadites finally hit a city or something.
Yeah. The Cabin in the Woods is one of those ones. Like, you had no idea what you were getting into when you get into that movie.
Oh,
they did such
You have to watch it. That's the way you have to watch it.
Yeah. But I just remember, like, the trailer. Like, there's nothing about what Cabin in the Woods is actually about. Nothing.
Bare minimum.
Not a thing about what that movie is.
I think they let you in on the fact that there was the guys in the control room. You just didn't know.
But anyways.
It was very good at hiding itself, and I love when a trailer can do that.
Yeah. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joins me every week to talk about movies and just nonsense. What's going on the podcast this week?
This week on Overdue Rentals, we had our friend, Matthew and I had our friend Max Every on, and he discussed Explorers with us. The 1985 Joe Dante movie about Ethan Hawke, River Phoenix, building a flying, like, tilt-a-whirl car.
I do not remember this.
You don't? Oh.
No.
It's on Prime right now. I want you to watch it because I think you would really enjoy it.
I don't have Amazon Prime.
I think it might be free on Tubi then.
All right, cool. Well, we'll put links to the podcast up there and everything. Mike, you have a great weekend.